We're not trying to be alarmist. We're not trying to concern folks. What we're trying to say is how can we make sure that we don't see a significant impact before we can handle it.
A state of emergency in Kansas City, but what does it mean for you? We're sitting down live with Mayor Quinton Lucas in our first 5 minutes.
I think this is the first time anything's impacted us like canceling everything. So I'm disappointed.
No Big 12 tournament, no March Madness. Coaches, players, and fans are not hiding their sadness. And it's not just events. Schools are slowly deciding to cancel class. We're live with what parents and students all need to know. Your News at 5 starts right now.
Now, live, breaking news from KCTV5 News.
Thanks for joining us here at 5 on KCTV5 News at 5. We are on top of breaking developments that seem to happen almost every minute. We are live down here at Power and Light. That is a much different look than what it was like last year. Ellen?
Yeah, no doubt. Certainly quiet out there. And Brad, we're going to have more on the Big 12 in just a minute. But we begin our team coverage here at 5 o'clock with the latest on a state of emergency being declared in KC. It is having a big impact already across town. Our Abby Dodge has more on what this means for people.
There are 6 different departments represented at all of these tables, but if the COVID-19 virus continues and there's person-to-person spread, the health director says he wouldn't recommend sitting this close to someone.
Once we start seeing person-to-person transmission in the Kansas City metro area, we wouldn't have a meeting like this. We wouldn't have you in this close together.
The word emergency tends to have a negative connotation, but the people who work here say that citizens of Kansas City shouldn't be worried about the state of emergency across the metro. All it's really doing is giving the mayor more power to react as he sees fit. We'll talk more about what those powers include coming up at 6. In Kansas City, Abby Dodge, KCTV5 News.
With the news changing by the minute about the coronavirus last night and then today, many people in our area started to panic a little bit. And today, many families showed up at local stores to stock up. I was at the Overland Park Costco when this happened. The doors opened at 10 a.m.
There was a line to get in, yes. I mean, I got here right at open, but it was like, we were at Disney World.
But this isn't Disney World.
This is not a normal trip. I'm also shopping for my daughter's family because they're at work.
These two crazy clown over there.
It's coronavirus prepping for what could be a lot of time spent indoors and away from crowds.
I wasn't here to get all this stuff, but as you start watching people shop, it does kind of freak you out. So.
And adding to the angst, around 10:30 in the morning, a woman collapsed inside. Paramedics responded quickly, and after about 20 minutes, she seemed better. I was caught up in the long line to check out that went all the way back to the back of the store. I needed diapers and some things for my 18-month-old son. Many moms were in the same boat.
It's different when you have kids at stake because it's not just your own mouths you're trying to feed, so it's better to be prepared than to not have things you need.
The store ran out of toilet paper, baby wipes, Lysol wipes, and paper towels.
14 days at home can save hundreds of thousands of lives. Why not?
Now, despite the long lines, they did move quickly and people were very patient. Well, it's no longer football season, but the Chiefs are taking precautions because of the coronavirus. They issued this statement a few hours ago. Starting Monday, the team is asking non-essential personnel to work from home for at least 2 weeks. They're also suspending business travel for coaches and scouts. And besides the state of emergency and shortage of supplies, the coronavirus is having a major impact on sports. The NBA, NHL, and MLS have all suspended their seasons. The MLB is delaying opening day by at least 2 weeks. The NAIA tournament is canceled. Conference tournaments across the country also canceled, including the Big 12. The Big 12 tournament was a shock for many fans, including those who traveled great lengths to get here. Our Greg Payne was out speaking with those people who made a long commute. So, Greg, what have those folks told you out there today?
Yeah, Ellen, I mean, first off, you mentioned all of those cancellations, and that's just mind-boggling. But, you know, people are just highly disappointed about this. And here over at the Power and Light, it's kind of tough because, I mean, they are drinking and they're trying to have a good time. But when you do talk to people, they are highly upset. And one of the reasons is they've traveled so far. Take a look up there at the flags. West Virginia, I met some students that made their way here just to see the game. Texas Tech, met some folks that came from Texas to watch their Texas Tech Raiders, and they're not going to be able to get a chance to do that. So it's just highly frustrating for people.
I know a lot of us are sad. All of us in the pet band, I know we always look forward to these tournament trips pretty much every year. You know, it's like the big thing. Kansas City is definitely a really, really fun time, especially for college students, for sure.
I'm really down. First Big 12 tournament. We was really looking forward to watching the Red Raiders, but I can understand why they've done it, but really disappointed.
Now, the gentleman from Texas says that he's actually going to stay and visit some of his family here in Kansas City. As for those students over at West Virginia, they're hitting the road and heading on back to school. Now, one of the things, getting here, that costs a lot of money, but also you have the hotels, car rentals, and, of course, the tickets to be able to watch the game. And we actually spoke with one gentleman who has a concern, like many do, that they might not be able to get that refund of their tickets. And we have that coming up at 6 o'clock. Excuse me. Back to you, Brad.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Joining us now is Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas. Mayor, you've had a big day today. You issued earlier today a state of emergency for the city of Kansas City. Break it down real quickly what that means for us here.
Yeah, what it means for us is that all events over 1,000 people are banned in Kansas City. So not just games like the Big 12 tournament, but a lot of our big shows, a lot of our big concerts, parades, Comic-Con, etc. And we thought it was important with everything going on in the country, with the fact we're still trying to contain, with 3 new cases in the metro, that we take this preventative step to make sure there's not more spread in our community.
What you're trying to do is contain but not incite panic with people. What are you finding? What are you hearing from Kansas Cityans right now? Stunned, disbelief, surprise, agreement?
You know, I think most people I've talked to are in agreement, but they're disappointed. And I get that. I mean, I love the spring. Heck, I love tax revenues from Power and Light District. And this year, frankly, they won't be coming in for this tournament. But at the same time, I think everybody understands why we have to take these steps, how important it is, and frankly, being better safe than sorry. Making sure that we look out for something so we don't get a lot worse like they're experiencing in Seattle, New York State, other places.
All right, let's talk about testing, because we saw earlier today in Denver, Colorado, they have received a massive amount of tests there. I think they've got some drive-through testing going on in Denver. Where are we at here in Kansas City, Missouri with coronavirus testing?
So, you know, right now, I think, frankly, there's improvement that we need. We continue to actually have to make sure that we're getting testing, that we're reaching out to the CDC to make sure we get those tools. I will say this, that helps our metro area. Having 2 states, we have Kansas and Missouri's health departments that are working to make sure that we have everything we need for some of our fine facilities on both sides of the state line. So I'm optimistic within days we'll be able to announce more drive-through testing. Within days we'll have more testing.
All right, so we're telling people to be cautious. But I thought it was interesting what Dr. Rex Archer said today, the director of the Kansas City, Missouri Health Department. He said right now, if you're healthy and if you're practicing good hygiene, go ahead and go on out to restaurants. Go to the movie theaters. Your thoughts on that?
You know, I think he's right. I mean, this is not a mass quarantine. You know, we don't have the experience that they have, God bless them, in Italy or a few other places. And so right now we're trying to say it's those big events, it's those traveling events, etc., that are bringing a lot of the challenges. The 3 new cases today over in Johnson County are folks who were at conferences. That's why we're taking this effect on large-scale events. But in your neighborhoods, at different things, we still expect, if you need to, head on out. Don't be concerned unless you're in one of those at-risk populations that we've talked about.
Boy, Mayor, it's just a weird day, isn't it?
It is. It is. You know, and it's weird because it's such a beautiful day in Kansas City. And I walked by people on the way here. It's just very different, and hopefully we get back to normal here in the spring.
Well, boy, have you seen some wild swings in your young position as mayor of Kansas City? You've seen, you know, Patrick Mahomes and the boys of the Chiefs lead us to the Super Bowl, and Kansas City's been on cloud 9 ever since, and was hoping to follow that up with the Big 12 tournament. Not to happen.
You know, not to happen, but I know brighter days are ahead. We've been through a lot in this community over all the years, and I know we'll get back to normal soon, and folks can get back enjoying the big events that we do so well in Kansas City.
All right, Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas, thank you very much for your words today. Ellen, I want to send it back to you now.
All right, guys, thank you. Now, it is not just colleges and universities. Some local school districts are beginning to cancel school. Coming up here, how long could those closures last? We'll have that story when our breaking news coverage returns. And of course, for more information on coronavirus